It is a windy, blustery night. I don't know if you can hear it, but you'll have to take my word for it. We're almost to the 2 weeks. Yay! Look, guys, we're coming out and we have, oh no, they got scared away by a car. Well, anyway, we're coming outside and we found some little visitors, but they're gone now. Excitement over, sorry. He is on the search for Pokemons and other nerdy things. I see he's found a couple of them. I'm filming without your consent. Did you know that? I was like, he's on the search for the Pokemons. He's found a few.
And I also found something else.
What?
So you know how I recently became interested in Warhammer 40K?
Yes.
They have a Necron deck.
Oh, that's cool. Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to day 16 of Vlogtober. Yeah, so how has your weekends been? Mine has been well. I lost track of the days. I thought this was turning into Monday, but this is my Saturday, so this video is for Sunday. It's like it's after midnight, so officially it is Sunday. I'm not lying. But I always do them the day in advance, especially for the vlog videos, so that it's out and ready, because I know a lot of you guys are not the late night. Some of you are, but not all of you are the late night owls that I am. So that's totally cool. I'm doing it for everybody to have the day of, though. So what has my weekend consisted of? Well, as you can hear, I am getting sniffy again. This is, I think, my 5th video that I just did, because like while I was uncongested and my Dayquil was working for me, I cranked out the videos that I had to do, that I wanted to do. I shouldn't say I had. It's not like I had to do it, but that I wanted to do. And Damon and I went shopping today so that we didn't have to tomorrow, unless there's things that we forgot, because we both took the day off on Saturday. So yesterday, as you're watching this, we took it off for like a Pokemon Go event that we had planned to do into the night. Because like the event ended, but the rating didn't. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we ended up opting, like we got all of our stuff done early in the event. So we went to the store and I was just like, because I wanted to get home and get into my jammies and just die. No, not die. Just relax and feel like take my time to feel icky, you know. Kind of just have to. So while we were shopping, we did go to Goodwill too, which is not a normal like routine, but since we were off and it was actually open, we went. They only had one thing of yarn there, and it was like fun fur. It was like one of the fun furs that's not fun, like it's not Lion Brand's fun fur, but it was similar to it. There was like 3 red skeins of it, and I didn't need that. So, but I rescued something, you guys, and I'm well aware. I was telling Damon, I'm well aware that I could have made this. In fact, if you saw my blanket movie video, blanket bonanza, whatever I called it from last year, it was in there. But I made a chevron blanket with a bunch of brown yarn, which was the brown Red Heart with Love that I had on hand. I think I used like basically all of it. And then there were stripes put in there of this really old yarn. I don't even remember the brand of it. No, I don't remember. But it was in autumn colors. If I can find a picture, I'll stick the picture up in here. But I can't remember if I have a picture of it handy or not. But it was brown, and then the yarn it was striped with was a variegated that was really old, and it was gold, green, and orange, like a variegation, right? And I made it in the chevron. And I love the blanket. Like, I guess I could also probably just take a picture of it out there because I have it, but if I have one, I'll put it in here. But I saw this and I was like, I know I can make it, but what I can't do is find this yarn. So I rescued a blanket from Goodwill. It's a long one too. It's basically the twin to the one that I made. As far as length and width goes, it's very long and then pretty wide. Same with mine. I made the same chevron, like the exact same chevron type in the back loop and double crochets, and it's a beautiful blanket. It's beautiful. But like I said, I don't even know what color this is, let alone what type this is, let alone when this was. So I wouldn't have the first clue where to find this yarn. I will say it's obviously been washed and all that. So like it's gone through the washer and dryer, and it's still not like crazy soft, much like mine also was, right? So, but I don't care. I don't care. I find it so comforting, and it's not harsh. It's just not like bougie soft, you know? And I might just wash it again actually, but I had to rescue it. I told Damon, I was like, I know David's going to just say, why did you get that? You don't need to. You could have made it. So I was like, you know, if I tell him in a couple of weeks, look what I made, he wouldn't know. He might. He pays attention to what yarn I get. So he might be like, where'd you get that? You were not way excited to get some old looking yarn. That's what he'd tell me. So like, where did you get it? But yeah, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And they had a bunch of crochet stuff, but this was like the icing on this took the cake, you know, like this was the topper of the cake for me. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Love it. So I got that, and then we went shopping. I think there's probably a clip in here of us shopping. And I actually I saw somebody that I knew, which is why I ended up stopping the camera. Like, I think Damon was mid talking and I felt really bad, but I didn't want to like film the person. It was a girl I worked with like a long time ago and haven't seen her in a while. And, I didn't want us, like, our conversation, like, you don't care what we're saying to each other. So yeah, I ended up stopping that pretty early, but we got a little clip anyway. And, I was carrying, because I have been sick, I decided that validated me getting this, but, I got a Squishmallow, and it's a little dragon, and his name is Duke, and I don't know if you can see it, but he's, got really sparkly dragon scales and wings, and I love him. He's very squishy. And I literally, like, Damon was pushing the cart, and I was like, I feel icky, so I just, like, walked around like this. Unless I had to, like, go get something, I was just like... So, yeah, this is Duke, and he's adorable, and I couldn't pass him up. So he's even got a little tail. So I'll have to take his tags off now, but yeah, he's my squishy. And I got some extra equipment that I think will finally work better for the tutorials that I want to do. It'll be down here. I do have some stuff upstairs, but I just feel like this setup is better. And this is where all my tutorials that I have so far are done anyway. So yeah, I do have a pattern that's going to be coming out that is the dragon tail shawlette. It is being tested right now, and I need to get pictures for the pattern. It's a really long, repetitive pattern, so I probably won't do a tutorial on it, but the pattern will be out soon if you are interested. And what else did I have to tell you guys? I can't think of it. So I guess that means I've talked way enough, and it's time to get on with other things. I think I was probably just going to mention that, so that means I've been cleaning a little bit too. So I never give myself time to like just be sick and get over it. I have to constantly be doing stuff. Anyway, so I have these quarter machine type of surprise balls. There is Halloween 2, there is Gremlins, there is E.T., and then there is still one Universal Monsters in here. I will pick one. There'll be a couple of days that I have to pick two. So I guess we could do two for this day. I'll pick them at random. If they're the same, I'm going to throw one back. We got a Halloween one. And nope, Halloween's getting thrown back. Which one, guys? This one? NET one. I can't believe I haven't picked like hardly any of the Gremlins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've only opened one at random, and then one when I opened all 4 of them. And the rest are Gremlins in there. So here is the Halloween one. And they're just little fun trinkety things. Ooh. Michael Myers patch. How cool is that? Love that so much. It's my first patch, I think. Love it. So we got that, and then for the ET one, that feels like, is there nothing in here? Oh, yes. My bracelet collection grows. Oh my gosh, look. Oh, I don't know if it'll show it or not. Focus on that. Look, it's ET phone home. Oh, how cool is that? There we go. Sorry. So I have another bracelet to add to my collection here on my arm. I have from the Universal Monsters, I still have my Dracula on. This is my friend's band, so I still have their merch on. Fozzie. Go check them out. And then I got the Halloween one yesterday, I think. And I am now going to add E.T. phone home to it. It's my first white one. So there he goes. He is a part of me now. So my wrists are getting full. So yeah, I have those. And then, see, I cleaned up in here. So now I'm like, where do I reach for? Then I have my handy dandy Stranger Things notebook. Decorated with L. This one is all L. And inside I have, for the 31 days of the month here, I have 31 different fan theories, topics of discussion, predictions for the next season, things to do with Stranger Things to be able to discuss with you guys. So I'm going to pick one. I'm going to tell you what I think about it or why I added it or whatever comes to mind that I'm going to babble at you about for a few minutes. And then I wholeheartedly encourage and ask you to write your opinions down below. So I know there are a lot of Stranger Things fans, which I love. But yeah, so I know we have a lot of Stranger Things fans. And I love hearing everything you guys have to say. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with me. I don't care. Like, I just love the conversation. So, that being said, let's pick something short so I don't go on and on and on and on about it. Okay. So for this theory, it is a Max theory. If you watch Stranger Things, you're probably very familiar with Max Mayfield. She is such a little spitfire. I love her. This theory is one that's just part of a lot of videos about Stranger Things season 4 or 5 and about Max. But the theory is that Max will destroy Vecna from inside his own head. So, slight backstory if you have not remembered season 4. But in season 4, that's when like a lot of it centered around Vecna. Well, centered around Vecna, but he was going through victim after victim, and Max was one of his targeted victims. He had almost gotten her once, and she got like in his own mind instead of just where he wanted her to see. And then they kind of did like a battle of the wills where he was in her mind, she went into his mind, and then he went back into her memories with her over, the season, all the shows, over the shows for season 4. And that's when Elle had piggybacked into her memory and was trying to fight Vecna also, like in real time, but in the upside down basically, or the other dimension that they were in of the mind, of Max's mind. And Vecna did end up claiming Max as his 4th victim, so he could set off his, curse of Vecna. But Elle showed us a new power, and she said, "No, you're not going, not today," or whatever. And she laid her hands on Max, and she did save her. And Max was officially dead for over a minute, I believe, and then basically brought back to life. They thought she just came back to life, but it was Elle. We all know it was Elle now. And when Elle went to actually physically see her in the hospital, she tried again to get inside Max's mind, and she found that she was alone in there. There was no Max. It was basically just a shell of Max that was alive. But that is something different than the other victims who were all killed, right? So it's pretty popularly thought that Vecna has Max as far as like mentally, her personality, what makes her her, is with Vecna. And the new situation being that she is also alive while she's dead, right? That being said, it would make sense, because then like when you saw the other victims, when he was trying to scare Max and show her like what her future was looking like, all the other victims, while they were there with him, like he said, all my victims never leave me, they're here with me. But they were still dead bodies, just kind of hooked up to his creepy tree posts, right? So the difference will be, will Max be not a dead figure? Will she be talking and planning and trying to thwart him, or, whatever may be within her power to do at that point? Probably would be my guess, because like the rest of her is alive, right? So nothing is just dead about her at this moment. And if that be the case, is she going to have some effect over him? Because she's already had an effect. She was the first time that Vecna had brought somebody into his own, that had made their way into his own mindscape, right? So will she be able, and she's the only one that figured out, I'm going to hide in my own memories and, think of happy things and this and this and this. And so will she be able to maybe throw him off of his game mentally, and that would like weaken his defenses against Elle and the others? Or I think that's really possible. certainly more possible for her than anyone else because, like, you didn't see, Fred or Chrissy or anybody up there talking, right? I think Max could do it. I think she could give him a real pain in the butt. And if she doesn't directly do something to ensure his death, I think that she will definitely be like the distraction. Kind of like when the Mind Flayer took over Billy's body, he still had a few like moments where he was very obviously still Billy. They were few and far between, especially the further like the Mind Flayer got to him. But there were still those cognitive moments. And Max is physically moved into like his area, his space, but I think there's still, at least like with her conscious mind, there's still times that she will have control over what she's doing, and I think she's going to be a distraction to him for sure, and that's how they're going to defeat him. But what do you guys think? I think it's a very good theory, and I think it's a good possibility, but we'll have to see, right? So my voice is starting to fail me, so I'm going to leave it at that. Just tell me what you guys think if you have any thoughts on it. And the last thing that I have been doing is telling creepy stories on a wide variety of topics, right? Some like ghost story type things, some urban legends, some real life things, like cults that we've talked about, serial killers that we've talked about, historical serial killers was last night's, the Axeman, and some paranormally things that have happened to me over my life and some of my friends also. And we went to the area's haunted house, creepy house type thing one time. That was on like day 3, I think, or 4 maybe. Just different things. And so I thought when I do on the 19th, when I start doing my advent calendar and my gift exchange with Courtney, I don't know if creepy stories will still be around. Like, it'll make a pretty long video, but we'll see. I'll try to find like shorter topic things, but I wanted to make sure to tell you my really scary like ghost story moments that happened to me still. I'm going to tell you about St. Louis today, when my now ex-husband and I lived there. We'll see how long I talk, if I split this up into a couple videos or not, but basically, so we lived in an apartment, and we were on the 2nd floor of this apartment. And it wasn't in like the greatest neighborhood ever, I will say, but that has no bearing. I'm just saying, like, so there's activity all the time going on, and so bear that in mind. But my now ex-husband worked at the Air Force Base down there, and he worked overnight shifts for they switched around, but like at this time he was working overnight shifts. And me being a night person and having just moved down there, I did not, like, I basically took a leave of absence from the job I have up here, which is still my job. But I thought I was taking a leave of absence to eventually move. And then I ended up coming back home. Funny story about that, because he ended up getting shipped off to Korea, and I couldn't join him for a very long time. But neither here nor there with the story. He was working the night shift, and I was then home alone. And the first thing I remember is, so I do the same thing now that I did then, and I would like work into the night on things, like at the time, whatever I was into online or whatever. Maybe it was fanfic then too. But like now, if I'm like watching YouTube videos or like writing fanfic, there's a lot of times where I'm at my desk at the computer and I'm out, right? Completely out. Okay, so I'm home alone. And if you remember my story about when I was a kid and hearing the cabinets open and stuff, I heard the cabinet doors open. Now it was an apartment. So it was basically like you walk in the front door. If you go immediately to the left, there was our kitchen. And there was a wall dividing the kitchen and the living room. but you could enter the kitchen from either side. So it was just a wall in the middle with a big walk around, right? If you go in the door and go to the right, there is a big closet, there is our bedroom, and then at the very end of the hall, there is a bathroom, just so you have an idea of the layout of the apartment. So my computer desk was basically in front of the door, but in the corner of the living room. So there's the door, the walkway to the kitchen, and then a straight shot to my desk. Okay. So I was at my desk and I hear the cupboard door open. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, like what's happening? And so I go to look, like what's going on? What's making the noise? And my cupboard door was open. And I was like, oh, that's weird. You know, nothing out of the ordinary had happened in the apartment at that point. So I just went and closed it. And I go sit down again. And a little bit later, I heard it again. So I went and I closed it. And I was starting to, you know, scratch your head kind of, what's going on with this thing? Is it like loose hinges or, you know, what's going on? Is somebody outside making a noise I didn't hear and the vibration like popped it open? I don't know. So I go sit down again. Then I hear it open again. And at this point, I went kind of through the living room because I was going to go to the other side and just close it because I was getting a little weirded out. My plan had been go in, close it, and just back right back out and around, right? Keep that wall between us. And so I go to the edge of the kitchen and I was maybe like reaching out towards it and something growled. And I freaked out. Now, surprisingly, I guess a tiny bit of my fight or flight mode kicked in. And the growl, like I went, ah, you know, and I screamed. And I reached the rest of the way forward, flung that door shut as hard, the cupboard door shut as hard as I could. And then I ran back to my desk, which was in the farthest corner from that as I could get. And that night didn't hear anything else come from the kitchen, but that I was scared enough that I was still awake when my husband got home, my then husband got home. And I told him about it and he was just like, oh, that's weird, you know. But like it didn't happen to him. He was the person who wanted to believe in the paranormal, but nothing had happened to him, so he didn't know what to believe. Like he wasn't calling me crazy, but he wasn't like, oh, that's crazy, you know. He was just like, oh, that's weird. I'm sure he thought I was probably half asleep or whatever. So that happened. Then I was still freaked out and he got home and it was the daytime and everything, but he got home. And now remember, I told you in my when I was a kid video that I found out then at a very early age that you're not safe from things like that, even in the daylight. Like daylight doesn't mean safety. And so he was like, I'm exhausted. I have to work tonight. I'm going to go to bed. You know, do you want to come to bed? And I was like, I'm staying up. I'm good. And so he went to bed. And I'm at my computer and I hear the biggest crash I have ever heard in my entire life, ever. It sounded like a freaking bomb went off in the bedroom. I basically, like, I feel like I felt the floor tremble. It was huge. So I freak out, spring up, run down the little short hall to the next room, basically. And I'm expecting to see, like, we had a dresser next to the bed and it had a 10-gallon fish tank that we had some goldfish in. I was expecting to see, like, that tank had fallen over or the whole dresser had fallen over or something. Like, I was sure something just awful. And I expected him to be wide awake because how could you not be? He was dead asleep. And I mean dead asleep. And So when I went in there, I woke him up because I'm like, what happened? And I'm like kind of freaking out. And he's like, I didn't hear a thing. And we both, I came in and he got up. So we were both like physically up in the room, looking around, trying to figure out what could have happened. And so bedroom door, out in the living room, my desk is against the wall. And I said, I thought I heard a vibration. The closet door to the bedroom, the closet was in between the room of the bedroom and the room of the living room. So that little space that against that wall basically was a closet. And I looked, and like when we were looking around the room, the closet door was open like that wide. And I was like, which was odd. I never leave the closet door open, ever. And he didn't either. So I was like, did you leave the closet door open? And he's like, no, you must have last night or something. So we had no explanation, and nothing crazy happened there after that. So I'm freaked out really bad. He's going back to sleep. I go out to my desk again. And I had started to fall asleep because I was really tired at this point, but fighting it, because you're freaked out. So I'm fighting it. And I was kind of leaned back in this big chair that I use for a desk chair, and just kind of like, when you fool yourself into, I'm not tired. I'm just relaxing. I'm just thinking of what I'm doing or gathering my thoughts. And eventually I'm just resting my eyes, You know how that goes, I'm sure, if you've ever been trying to like fight sleep. So that was me. And I am like lounged back, and something, like even now with my eyes shut, when I pass my hand over my face, there's that where the light has been shut out for that second, right, from my hand. So something passed over my line of sight, even with my eyes shut, and I noticed it because it was daytime. It was bright in the apartment. And I opened my eyes, but of course they're sleepy, I'm barely like eyes fluttering, like barely awake. And what I saw was I'm leaned back, remember, I'm leaned back in this chair, like relaxing, half waking up. What I saw, my then husband came out of the bedroom because he appeared at the hallway. He walked kind of oddly, but walked into the living room, was next to my chair, leaned over me to look at me. I'm getting goosebumps again, like bad, thinking about this. Leaned over me, said nothing at all. And I kind of went, oh, why are you up? Or whatever, like just didn't know what was going on. And I mean, when I say he leaned over me, like his arms were at his side, and he leaned over me, stared at me. And when I spoke to him, he raised up, and he kept walking through that living room and into the kitchen. So I'm really puzzled, exhausted, on the verge of freaking out, and that feeling was kind of washing away. I'm like, what are you doing? So I get up and I'm walking into the kitchen, and he's not in there. And so I'm like, where did he go? Like, what is going on? So I walk through the kitchen. When I'm hitting that cupboard, growl again. And I'm instantly awake. I did not slam that cupboard door shut this time because I was at the opposite side of it. I just bolted, and I ran back into our bedroom and woke him up again because he was there. He was asleep in bed. Can you see the goosebumps? I don't know if you can or not. Oh my gosh. Goosebumps all the way up my arm. I'm going to pause this so my voice doesn't change. Sorry, I know that's probably annoying when I'm like, I'm going to pause this for a second, but I don't want my voice to be disconnected from my talking. And it does that sometimes at the 33-minute mark. Okay, so he's in bed and I am freaking out. And I told him like what had happened, and he, like I said, he didn't not believe me, but it didn't happen to him. So he was like, that's weird, you know, like what else could he say really? So, I mean, I understand, but I just wanted him to believe me because I was so scared. And I did not enjoy life that day at all. So I ended up just going to bed with him, you know, like laying down, sleeping. He's like, you're exhausted. You have to be exhausted. Just, you know, like he held me or whatever. And that was that. So fast forward to, I think it was that night when he went to work and I was home alone again. And I was at the computer and it's middle of the night, but I had a friend at the time who was always online and up. And so I could chat with her. And like the early version of like video chatting was going on at this time. And so we were video chatting. And we're just, you know, talking away, like just chatting about whatever. I was telling her some of the weird stuff that happened and just talking, you know. And all of a sudden, so we're talking, and like if I'm her, right, and you guys are me, we're talking like we are right now. And all of a sudden she goes, and I'm there, you know, in the living room, and I'm like, and she laughs, and I'm like, what? And she goes, I wasn't waving at you. She's like, and I said, what were we waving at? And she's like, I was waving at Brian. He just walked through the living room or whatever, you know, like, and I go, what do you mean you were waving at Brian? And she's still like smiling, you know, because she's like, duh. And, oh my God. Look at that. I said, what do you mean you're waving at Brian? And she goes, he walked through the living room. And like now I'm sure her smile was fading because she's probably like, what is wrong with you? And I said, Brian's at work. And her face, even though it wasn't the best quality video, I'm sure, I mean, her face dropped. She got so serious. Her eyes got wide. Her face was pale. And she said, he was right behind you in the living room. And at that point, I didn't know what to do. All I could do was keep my eyes on her. I didn't want to look behind me in the video. I didn't want to turn around physically in the room and look anywhere. I sat at that desk and I pulled myself in and I just sat there. And I said, will you stay up with me until he gets home? As calmly as I could. And she did. And nothing else happened that night. But oh my God, I was so scared. I was so scared. The fact that whatever it was not only something that I heard and that I saw, but it showed up on video. And somebody that didn't even know what was happening. I hadn't gotten to the point in the story where I said it looked like my ex-husband. She just thought she was waving at my ex-husband. And it's just a really creepy thing. And then nothing else happened that night. He came home. I told him. He's, again, like, he didn't not believe me, but he didn't know what to say. And I get that. He didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. That weekend, he was home. And I was home, obviously, still. And I can't remember now because I'm up all night and everything like that, and because he was up all night at the time too. I don't remember if we were getting up or if we were going to bed. But at one point I was brushing my teeth either way. So I'm in the bathroom and I am, brushing my teeth. And I don't know, like I know people do it different ways, and like as far as like some people just don't really rinse, they just spit out their toothpaste, and some people do rinse, and I'm a rinser. So I don't usually have a cup, so I turn the water on and and that's that. Like, just saying, because it's kind of relevant. So I'm brushing my teeth and I went to rinse. So I lean down, get the water and swish. And that's usually about the time that I'm checking to make sure, there's no toothpaste going on, because I'm going to also rinse that off, right? And I got the water, got it in my mouth, went to go look in the mirror, and my ex-husband is standing behind me. And I kind of jump and, I'm still facing the mirror, and spit out the water, and I'm like, you scared me. And I turned around and he was not there. His reflection was there. He didn't say anything. He didn't say a word. None of these times did he ever speak, unless he was the thing in the cabinet that growled. Nothing. He never made a noise. But that scared me so bad, you guys. So bad. Yeah. So I did. He was home. The real him was home. So I went and told him what happened. And I think several times both of us tried to kind of recreate it, and it didn't happen. But I was very thankful that soon he had gotten transferred to Korea. So I went back home now, like where I'm at now. I came back home. My grandparents and my mom were alive then, so I just came and like moved back home for a while. And he went on to Korea, and then eventually I joined him over there, but it was scary. It was very scary. That was my St. Louis story. It's the worst of my, like, scary wise, it's the worst of any of mine, I think. Yeah. So go ahead and judge me and tell me that I'm crazy. That's fine. But it to this day creeps me out badly, like very badly. Yeah. So that being said, I'm gonna end that. Let you take from that whatever you want to. If you ever have any creepy stories, paranormal stories, feel free. You could either put them in the comments below. You can start a Facebook post for people to talk in my group, or you can email me if you have any. I love to hear like the paranormally type stories from you guys too. Several of you have emailed me and I have read all of them. I love it. I live for this kind of stuff. I do love being scared. So yeah, I will probably end this. I gotta get to bed because I just don't feel great. And if I'm up to it, tomorrow, David and I are gonna go see Halloween Ends. I'm so excited to see that. We're gonna go to the theater too. I'm so excited. But I digress. I will let you go for now. Yeah, hopefully I have some tutorials coming very soon now. And I have some other videos that'll be going up that you'll be seeing now because they're all already like ready to go. And so yeah, now would be a good time, if you are not already a subscriber, to click down below and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I'm only like 30 some subscribers away from 3K, guys. So how exciting is that? And Hi, Damon.
Why does Waldo wear a striped shirt?
Why does Waldo wear a striped shirt? I don't know.
Because he doesn't want to be spotted.
Thank you.
Why didn't the melons get married?
Why didn't the melons get married? I don't know.
Because they can't elope.
That was David. All right. I really am going to go. The cantaloupe. Anyway. All right. I love you guys, and I will see you very soon. Bye, guys.